you say you want to save jazz. How you going to save jazz if no one's listening? Jazz is dying because of people like you. You're playing to 90-year-olds at the Lighthouse. Where are the kids? Where are the young people? You're so obsessed with Kenny Clark and Thelonious Monk. These guys were revolutionaries. How are you going to be a revolutionary if you're such a traditionalist? You're holding on to the past, but jazz is about the future.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Film Bros podcast. My name is Isaiah Lucas, and I am joined by my co-hosts,
Abraham
and Nick.
How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing good. We're in a good mood.
We're in a
We
really
are.
good
I
mood.
think we're giggly.
Yeah, we are. It's because we watch a good movie, man.
Yeah, this movie
Yeah.
is great. I'm really happy we decided to go with this one.
I say
am
we just
too.
rate it right now, and then that just tells you about why we like the movie.
Be the shortest episode we've done.
Yeah. So just, would you rate it?
Oh no, we gotta break it down first. We gotta talk about why we loved it and what we
Yeah.
loved about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I announced last episode that we were gonna be doing La La Land. This movie came out in 2016, I believe, and was written and directed by Damien Chazelle. This is actually a passion project for him, and this was the movie he wanted to do before Whiplash, but was originally only given a $1 million budget for it, and he didn't think that would be enough, so he wrote Whiplash, gained a lot of notoriety for that, and then came back to make this with a $30 million budget, I believe.
Oh, 30 million?
30 million.
Yeah.
I had not heard the budget yet, so
Oh, dude.
I was interested to hear.
Yeah.
30 million, that's crazy.
I haven't heard the return. I
Oh.
just saw the.
Have you heard the return?
No, but I'm guessing it's high.
I'm guessing it's pretty high too.
In the 200s, that's what I'm guessing.
But the budget was 30 mil, which is significantly higher than Whiplash.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I mean this movie is great. It also is like shrouded in a little bit of controversy because during the Oscars of this year, this was nominated for Best Picture at the time, and so was Moonlight, the movie that won Best Picture, and it was a little bit of like a mishap.
Who had read it? Do you know?
I forget.
Steve Harvey,
I think,
no? No, it wasn't Steve Harvey.
it wasn't Steve Harvey. That was Miss
That
America.
was the Miss America.
You're right. And did he mess up on that too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this guy, I believe they called La La Land up,
Yeah.
thinking they had won. And whenever they went up there, they opened up the envelope and said like, "Oh no, we made a mistake. Like it's Moonlight. Like
Yep.
Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture. Come up here." And he like showed the camera.
That was the
and
whole
everything.
the whole world was
Yeah,
like,
everyone was like freaked,
yeah.
which is crazy because like, I don't know. I still, in my defense, I still think Moonlight deserved Best Picture.
Nope.
And I think Oscars did it right because La La Land was the typical pick. And the Oscars are notorious for being like, okay, we're gonna pick the safe pick for movie of the year. So I think they did a good job with picking Moonlight. As like they could have did the same thing with Parasite not winning Best of the Year. Like
And choosing what was the other one? Oh, it was 1917, right?
yeah, 1917 or
Another war
Joker,
movie or Joker, yeah.
or something like that, like an obvious pick.
Yeah.
But they went with Parasite, and that was amazing.
A big shakeup.
Like that was a huge shakeup. Not everyone thought that was going to happen. Like I remember seeing a ton of like low key racist YouTubers being like, "How can a foreign film also win Best Picture? You won the film."
No,
like all
but
that stuff. But
we were talking about this earlier. I think La La deserves it. I can rewatch La La Land over Moonlight any day.
that's because you love musicals.
I do.
That is factual.
And so watching this movie today, I don't know how the heck I fell asleep the first time.
Yeah, I don't know either, man. Because
I
when you
don't
told me
know.
that, I was like, man,
the first 10 minutes, I'm
yeah,
wide-eyed,
You're glued to the screen.
smiling ear to ear.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know how the heck I slept through it.
Yeah, so I'm excited to dive into it with y'all and see what you guys think. This is only my second time rewatching.
I think this is my third.
I'm gonna count
Okay.
this my 1.5
Yeah.
because I fell asleep for the whole thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, like we said, this movie came out in 2016, directed and written by Damien Chazelle. And it's a film about two characters named Seb and Mia. And both of them are starry-eyed people who live in Los Angeles or La La Land. And they are people who are trying to make a name for themselves in the entertainment industry and find themselves crossing paths with one another and eventually starting a relationship with one another. And the rest of the film, we get to watch the path that these two go on and how they grow.
Mm-hmm.
And without spoiling anything, we're going to leave it there and say that this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the movie, it is streaming on Hulu, I believe. Is that where you all watched it?
Yes, sir.
No, I rented it.
Oh, okay. I own this because I bought it at Rasputin's.
I do as well.
So I put it in the Blu-ray and got to watch it, and I gotta say I love it. I love that I own it because that way I can come back to it anytime I want. But yeah, go check this out if you haven't. Like we said, streaming on Hulu right now. I believe it was on HBO Max for a while, and I even think it was on Netflix for a while. Like, it's made its rounds on the streaming platform, so just keep your eye out if it's not on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you haven't seen this, check it out. This is your spoiler warning. If you don't care about spoilers, continue listening. If you do, pause it, go watch the movie or get a refresher, and come back and join us and hear our thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, without further ado, well, first I want to ask you guys, what was your first experience with this film?
What do you mean by that?
Like, what was the context behind you guys watching it the first time?
I think me and him just wanted, for me, I think we were just hanging out and he was like, oh, I'm going to put this movie on.
Well, I had watched it before that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it was in theaters or if it was at home. I remember hearing about the Oscar shakeup, and I was like, because I had not seen any of the pictures that year, and I was like, it's interesting. So I remember watching it. I think I watched it with Lisa, and we just fell in love with it. And I remember wanting to just not stop talking about it, and that's why I was like, Abraham, you haven't seen this movie? It was on HBO at the time, so I put it on.
Yeah, I gotta say, at the time, I really blew the movie off because I was not a fan of musicals.
Yeah,
I still will say I'm not a big fan of musicals, but I got into this movie because I was at Rasputin's one day and I saw it and it was like $8 for the Blu-ray, and I was like, you know what? I hear a lot of people say great things about this. I loved Whiplash, so I'll check it out. And I remember Alexa and I we were home one night and we were just kind of like, let's watch something we haven't seen before. And I was like, let's try La La Land, and she was like, oh, it's a musical. And I was like, yeah, I know, like, we're not big fans of musicals, but let's just try it. Let's see what happens. And we put it on, and like, dude, I was crying. I cried. I even cried the rewatch, dude.
Really?
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's one of those movies that makes me so happy and then makes me so sad.
Mm-hmm.
But like within the first like 15 minutes of turning this film on, I was just kind of like, this is
good,
cool, like great, like like the whole like entire spectacle of watching these people dance on the freeway and stuff. Which I have to say, I mean, I'll start it out with my first favorite scene, which is the intro.
Is this where we all start to sing and dance and just get down to it?
Yeah. But I don't know. I love that shot, like that panning shot of everyone in their cars listening to all different types of music and just showing like the diversity that is LA.
Yeah.
And then you hear the da.
Yeah, and you see that girl start singing, and then all these people get out of their cars, and they just start like spontaneously dancing. And I don't know, like as a kid or out of the context of like a I guess I should say like a normal musical, because I would say this is not a normal musical. It's like a love letter to old musicals.
Yeah, I can agree with you, because there's a scene, I actually mentioned it to Nick, when they're dancing, and I was like, bro, my favorite musical, obviously, Sound of Music, and that same scene where they're dancing, that dance that they're doing is in the Sound of Music.
Which one? Like the waltz that they're doing?
When they're in the Griffith Observatory.
Oh, and they're like waltzing?
When they're waltzing, they do that same dance in the Sound of Music. And I was like, bro, it's not credit. It's not a fact on there. But I was like, I vividly know because I watch the Sound of Music at least 3 times a year.
Okay.
So I know it's in there.
Okay.
And I was like, bro, like.
Yeah. So I don't know. It feels like it's not like a typical musical, and it's like an homage and a love letter to old Hollywood and old musicals, from the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I really found myself like entranced by the music and by, like I said, like the theatrics of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like I really am upset that I missed out on the theater experience of this, because I really think like if they did a re-release and they did like another run in theaters,
I would go.
I would go.
I would go in
heartbeat.
heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I can tell you, like this is one of the movies that I go to the movies for.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Like it has that like magic that is cinema. And it has that thing where you go to the movies and you're just like, man, this is what I love about film. This is the art of cinema. This is amazing music, amazing choreography, amazing cinematography, amazing acting, writing, direction. Like it's just it's ticking every box, and you're just like, man, this is why I love the movies.
Yeah.
And it ticked all those boxes within like the first 15 minutes, just that intro. I really loved how seamless everything felt. Like it felt like there were no cuts, or if there were cuts, they were done by like whip pans, which I love.
Like someone running across the camera.
Yeah, or like the camera just like
It'll go
whipping.
whoop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like
It's
there would be a cut right there, but it would look seamless.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I also really enjoy like whenever they're finished with their song, like it just immediately cuts off. Everyone gets back in their cars, and it's back to the normal LA landscape and soundscape of just honking cars and idled cars. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and then I also loved the title card popping up and it being like this old Art Deco like font, and just showing us like, okay, this is gonna be like, this is gonna feel like a timeless movie. And I don't know. I really loved it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I agree with that wholeheartedly, and I liked especially the coloring in
Yes,
this intro.
dude. Everything pops.
Everything
Everything's
pops.
so
Everything has
bright.
like this nice, vibrant colors. Like the woman had the yellow dress on. The dude comes up with the blue shirt, and everything is just popping off the screen. Beautiful.
Which is crazy too, because this was all filmed on 35 millimeter film.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like when it says like it's presented in CinemaScope, it is filmed with film.
It kind of loses it because it starts on my TV like this, and then it zooms out, and it's kind of cool. But I imagine in theater, I'm like, seeing it zoom out like that and seeing this beautiful it's kind of like romanticizing being stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
You expect this to be a boring time, but everyone's like sitting there enjoying their own space, and then all of a sudden like 30 people come up and start dancing together, and it's funny to see them join in that big circle and seeing them all have their own different like dancing styles, and opening up that truck and seeing them play
Yeah.
Can we just highlight the music?
Yeah, it's great.
I love this song, dude.
Yeah, I have to give props to the composer and Damien Chazelle. I know that him and Justin Hurwitz, I believe, is the composer's name.
Mm-hmm.
They both went to school together, and they came up with the idea for this film while they were in their senior year of school, and did a lot of the writing and composing and everything their senior year of college, and didn't get to make this movie until 2015, 2016. So it's been like a love thing for them. Like it's truly been one of those passion projects, something that they've been truly passionate about. Yeah, and you can tell.
Oh yeah, 100%. And when you hear the lyrics to the song that this woman and all these people are singing, it's talking about like people with huge aspirations and huge passions and goals of what they want to achieve here in LA.
Yeah, and
we can kind of correlate that to our characters, which we get to see right after. It pans down to a Prius, and it's Mia in her Prius, and then, she's on the phone, right?
That's what we assume.
Yeah, she's like going at it on the phone, and then she, looks down and she has a script. So we immediately know she's rehearsing for whatever's coming up. And, traffic's going along, and she's too busy to notice, and right behind her is just is Seb. Yeah, Seb. He goes, and of course that stays throughout the whole film, which I love.
I love that they use something that was a signal or like a signifier for like annoyance and like straight up like irritation.
Yeah.
And then they use that later for a sign of like love and admiration.
Yeah.
And it's so cute. Like that scene whenever he comes out and you just hear
and she goes,
and she's all, is that going to happen every time? She's all, I think so.
Yeah, she's smiling.
It's so cute.
And it just kind of shows because their relationship starts like that.
Yeah.
They kind of are jabbing at each other.
Yeah, there's no love at first sight.
There is not at all. But they keep, meeting together. And they even say like, we keep meeting together. Is that a sign? And then she goes, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So it's funny to hear that or to see that introduction and then change that and use that as like a little cute homage to how they started.
Yeah.
I think it was really cute. But
Yeah.
I guess that's enough of the intro. Do you have anything else to say, AB?
No, I like the intro, but it wasn't like my favorite scene. Does that make sense? Like my first favorite scene.
Okay.
But it did catch my attention because I was like, "What the heck is happening?" Like, but obviously I didn't know too much about the film, so I was just like, "Bro, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful way to open the scene or the movie, and I loved how they opened it. But it's just like I was like, I'm not gonna put that as my favorite scene. But I would have to say my first favorite scene is the dancing at the pool party, going to where she's being alone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's a little bit like I want to say like 10 minutes in.
Yeah, so this is the second big number, right?
Yeah. When she's when they go to the party.
When they go to
she's
the party.
in the bathroom.
Yes. So I just love the whole.
I love the freaking use of lighting
I do
and
too.
coloring.
So
dude. Like the lighting
Dude.
all like dimming down, and there's this one
They
spotlight
do it
on her.
so
It's-
often, and I
love
It's
it.
beautiful.
I love it
I
so
love
much.
how often they do it. It feels so cinematic and like theatrical, and I love the use of it. It really draws you into this like pure moment.
Yes.
And this moment where you and everyone else in the scene dissolves, and it's just you and the character.
Yeah,
Mhm.
especially in that scene too, where she's coming out and singing, and you see all of the, the guest party members just slowly,
Like the people that aren't dancing are paused, but then the people that are dancing are dancing real
dancing.
slow.
I honestly,
It's beautiful. I love it.
dude. It's so great.
seeing that scene, I actually thought immediately that we were gonna see Seb at that party, and I was like, okay, this is where they're gonna finally like show their love for each other. It's so early on in the movie, right? But then it just shows her to go to a scene where she's like losing her car. She parked in no parking zone and they towed her car, and I just love how she just continued walking. And there's still that little bit of music in the background, and it finally turns into that piano song.
Yeah, it's
And
their soundtrack.
Yeah.
Their theme.
Yeah.
Their theme. And it's just so beautiful.
Yeah,
oh my
that
gosh.
theme is what gets stuck in my head.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
No, not that one.
no. That's not it. That's the City of Stars.
That's City of
Their
Stars, the
theme
other
is
one.
I can't do it. If I had a piano here, I could do it. But
That's. I think you're thinking of. All I Want for Christmas Is You.
No.
Because you straight up
No,
did
dude.
ding 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 ding.
we could never.
That was gonna
compose.
go into I.
No.
Yeah,
But
what is their theme?
See, I know it.
I can visualize it, but I
can
can't.
visualize it. I can hear it in my mind, but
Yeah,
to get it out of my mouth it's losing for me.
it's
but
do 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 do.
yeah,
Yeah.
but slower, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
slower.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
slower.
No, so this is one of your favorite scenes, then, right?
Yes, it's that whole thing when she's leaving the party, like the start of when it's just her light shining on her, to where she reaches that restaurant, and it's just beautiful.
Yes,
And immediately it caught my attention because of the music, and I wrote it down. I said I'm a big fan of the piano music,
Yeah,
and it's just that I literally added to my music because I was like I could listen to that normally,
yeah.
and it's just. That's where it got my attention. I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna like this movie. I'm gonna like this song
Yeah.
because it's just so beautiful. And I think, that's my first favorite scene.
You know, and I'm glad you brought up your, idea of being at the party and seeing Seb there. And I kind of like that they didn't choose it, only because the song that they're singing is about, again, that aspiration, that like that deep drive and passion that's who she is.
Yeah.
It's her passion for acting, for being an actress, for creating like that. And that's what the whole song is singing. Like, I'm gonna go to this party because there might be someone in the crowd.
Yeah.
That someone that can give me that chance that she needs.
Yeah.
And for her to be that to be the highlight of it. And then it slowly kind of bleeds into, which I love how they tied in Seb's story with hers. When she walks in.
She walks past and he kind of mugs her off.
Well, no,
Yeah.
she walks in and she sees like the tail end of his his thing, and she's hearing the and then it transitions to his side of that.
Yeah.
I
That
love
timeline, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is perfect. I love the way they do that. It's so seamless how they do it.
Yeah.
And then we get to see his side of the story and how, he has his own life and his own aspirations and goals and all that, and how they slowly come together. And we're going to talk about J.K. Simmons back in this one too.
Yeah. My second favorite scene is Sebastian's side of what happens at the restaurant.
Yeah,
Oh.
so that's my next favorite scene as well.
Sweet.
Okay.
Go for it.
So obviously, you know, he's goes about his day. He goes and sits and has coffee in front of that jazz club, and he's just so upset because they turned it into a sambas and tapas place. And he's like, they turned it into the Van Beeker into a sambas and tapas. Like, they couldn't even pick one. And like, you know, it's just immediately so passionate for jazz and the history of jazz and preserving that and keeping it going and not letting it die.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that's so admirable, because I think that there's something really unique about jazz, and the fact that like jazz is almost like a way of life for people who truly love it.
Yeah.
And you get that sense with Seb's character. I mean, you know, whenever we get introduced to the sister, and she's like, I bought you a rug, and he was like, I don't need that, and she's like, well, what if I told you Charlie Parker peed on it or something? He'd be like, that would be an insult. Is it true? like he's just immediately all like so passionate and in love with jazz. It's what he loves, and he lives that.
Yeah.
And I love how that someone that is so passionate for this thing, like, gets reduced down to playing at a restaurant and just only doing Christmas carols and jingle bells.
Yeah,
It's rough. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, oh man, like I identify with that, right? Like, because I don't know, sometimes I feel like the way that Seb feels about jazz, that's the way I feel about movies. And I feel like, dude, like, movies are like, when people tell me like, oh yeah, I don't really watch movies, it's always like,
no, dude,
I'm
how can
always
you not?
like, yeah, I'm always just like, you're missing the entire point of what movies are. It's not just about going to be entertained. There's so much more to a movie than just being like, oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I really like Sebastian's character, because he has that zeal and that passion for something that he truly loves. And to watch him, you know, be dwindled down to just going ding, 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 ding. It's like, this is rough, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I
He
feel
hates
bad
it
for you.
He hates
He's trying to get
Yeah, he's trying to get J.K. Simmons to be like,
Dude.
okay, like, we'll say
one
like,
for you, two for you, one for me.
Yeah,
He goes,
like, I
all
just
for
wanna
you,
play
none
one.
for me. And he
He
goes,
goes, that's what I like.
that's the deal.
Yeah, and I also love J.K. Simmons coming back and being like the hardhead.
Yeah.
Of
You know?
course. Of course, man.
Yeah, he's such a great actor. I love J.K. Simmons, but I just love how, you know, we watch him do what he's told. He's playing all these Christmas carols and stuff, and I believe he starts playing Deck the Halls, and
Yes.
it kind of slows it down and starts improvising Deck the Halls, and then it turns into that theme, the do 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 do, and it's beautiful. Immediately from the start, I'm like, this is
Beautiful.
this is gorgeous.
This is
Yeah.
different. This is different.
And I love how the entire like all of Seb's surroundings slowly disappear
Oh, yeah,
with that
yeah.
cinematic lighting. Everything darkens and you get that spotlight effect, and you see just
He's
Seb
going
just
in, dude.
going in, and he's just playing his heart out in front of everyone. And I love how he's just so immersed in this moment and playing. And then whenever he finishes, all the lights turn back on and everyone's just kind of like staring at him.
How could you not at that moment?
Yeah. And my thing was immediately like, how could you not stare? But how could you also not be like, yeah, dude, like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone is just kind of like awestruck
Like,
and
oh,
is like, what the heck did just
You
happen?
ruined my meal,
What-
kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say too. You got to think about the context, because they're in a restaurant. You don't want someone to be playing the way he was playing the whole time. Though.
I mean, it is kind of true though, because he's going in those high or going da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And I mean, it sounds nice, but when
It
you're trying to have
sounds
a
beautiful.
conversation, I can try
Yeah.
to be like, all right, you know, and obviously they're gonna stop and look at him.
Yeah.
But still, to get something like that, I would be
I would
like,
expect a few claps.
Yeah.
I would be impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be very impressed.
Honestly,
I'd go up to that tip jar immediately. and-
Immediately be like, bro, keep going, please.
Yeah.
But we get to see what truly happens.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate for Seb. He gets fired from his gig.
I love it too, with the dialogue where he's like, see, you're saying something, but I don't think you mean what you're saying. And he goes, you're fired. He's like, yeah, see, you're saying that, but I don't think you mean what
But
you're
what
saying.
you truly mean is stick to the notes.
Play the set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Play
and
the
he's all, no,
You're fired.
He's like,
He's all,
And I was like,
it's
bro, dude,
Christmas.
come on.
And he's
I
all,
see the decorations.
yeah. He's all, I see the decorations. Good
I
luck
hope you have a good year.
luck in the new year.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh man, it's rough.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know, that leads to our characters interacting for the first time, or at
That's-
least what we think is the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And he completely, blows her off. And I kind of laugh too because Emma Stone plays it off so well, like that truly happened. Like she like really got blown off, where she's just kind of like,
What?
what? Like,
How can that happen
how
to
did
me?
that just happen?
Yeah.
Like, I went to go and compliment this guy, and he just, brushed me off,
Mm-hmm.
like bumped shoulders with me. Like,
It was unfortunate timing, honestly.
yeah. And I got to say that's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. All right. So I wrote a lot down here, so I'm trying to figure out where we're at. I said when he goes off the set list. But the next one, I was talking to you guys earlier. It's the only time, well, not the only time, but one of the times where I laughed is where, I guess we could talk about that's when she goes to that party, right?
She
The
goes
day
to
party?
she
Yeah,
goes
the
to
day
this
party.
Day party.
Yeah, my next one's the party, and then him walking her to
Yes.
her car.
Okay,
Actually,
that's where
mine's
mine
a
starts
little bit
too.
before that.
It's before that?
Mine, their first interaction together before he goes back on when they're like, hey, we gotta go. When he goes up to her and goes,
Oh, and they have their conversation,
have
and
their
then he
conversation.
gets called back to play.
yes, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I-
Yeah.
No, I'm the whole party where like
whole
she's
thing-
like
the whole party's amazing.
when they're playing Take on Me, and
oh,
then,
dude, I actually kind of cringed.
did you cringe?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because it's something that like when you find out who's playing, you're just like, you don't like this stuff.
Yeah.
You're just doing this to make a buck.
Yeah.
And like I get having to do it. You're a struggling musician.
You can see
But-
him hating his
yeah,
life,
and you
too.
can
He's
see
just like,
him just being like, oh.
and he kind of goes like,
Yeah.
he's so
and then
half.
and Mia can tell.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
that's happening, and so she requests I ran, and he's just like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
He's
Make
like,
me
you don't
play
do
that?
that to a serious
Yeah.
musician.
And he starts, that guy starts going, I ran.
And she starts going like,
yeah, and she's all dancing.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It's one of those things where, like, Emma Stone is just an effortlessly funny person, and she can make anything feel, like, genuine. And,
Yeah.
And so, like, whenever she's doing that, it feels like it's, like, it doesn't feel cringe to me. It feels like she's, like, she's looking at him, she's all,
and she's
like,
I
making
loved
these
it.
faces
I
and stuff
loved
and
it.
everything, and I loved every minute of it. She was, I don't know, it felt real, and it's funny to know too that wasn't in the script. Like those little like her
Oh, it was-
dancing and stuff was like all ad libbed.
What?
Like her, yeah, and like her little like faces and stuff and everything. It's just
I
you
just
like
like
that? You like that?
I should correct myself. I cringed the way they were singing.
Yeah, and I think that's done on purpose. I think it's done purposefully to like sound a little bad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like it's supposed to be like a cover band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cover bands are not going to be great.
No,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I get what you're saying, but I was
Especially when you're trying to sing "Take on Me," dude.
Yeah,
How
and
do you
you're
do
going,
that? Dude, it's like,
I was like, bro, that's what I'm saying. I love that whole party scene is amazing.
yeah.
let me
and
hear you do that.
No.
Come on, come on, do it.
No.
My
Come on,
voice
try.
crack, dude.
What are the lyrics?
I'll see you in a day or two, something like that.
Every time I hear it, I go. "Dee-dee-dee-dee." That's what I do. I didn't think those were lyrics.
Yeah, and he says something in a day or two.
Dude, it's,
Yeah, see, I can't do that. I always go.
He just harmonizes with
It,
it.
literally, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was making noises.
That's funny.
That's news to me.
yeah.
That's funny.
But no, it's after that where he kind of approaches her and he's like, "How dare you do that to me? You don't request that song to a serious musician."
Well,
Yeah.
at first he apologizes to her though.
Yeah, he
For the
says like, "I'm
incident-
sorry for being curt last night."
Yeah, and she goes,
He's
"Kurt."
like, Kurt. He goes.
He says,
I was
okay,
I was a
an
butt.
I was an a-hole.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I loved it too because he was like, "Oh, so you're an actress?" And then she's like, "Oh," and then he finds out, "Oh, you're a barista. I can see how you could look down on me from way up there." It was funny, and he's like, he ends up saying like, "Oh, well, whatever. I'll see you in the movies." And he puts his, oh no, it's when his dude comes and he's like, "Hey, set's on." And he goes, "He's not my boss.
Yeah, he doesn't tell me what to
He
do.
doesn't
tell
do
me
it.
what to
She goes, say, well, he just told you what to do.
He's like, "I let him." It was funny
Yeah.
to see that dynamic and to see them start basically not hating each other, but
They're having friendly banter.
yeah, getting
Yes,
on each
yes.
other's nerves.
Yeah.
Showing each other that they're a little bit interested.
Yeah. Yeah, I lumped that whole scene in too with whenever he walks her back to the car,
Yeah,
and she sees him walking away with some guy that she was talking to, and she's
it's the most like
boring conversation.
not even that. He's like like self-indulgent. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a great writer. They say I do good world building. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, shut up.
Yeah. And then she's all, hey, George Michael.
Yeah.
And he just kind of turns around and looks at her. And she's all, hey, could you grab my keys for me? Prius? Like a Prius key? And he's all,
This is where I
he's all,
laughed.
which one? And there's like
thousands.
Yeah, there's
dude.
like 10 different Prius keys. And she's all, the one with the green ribbon? And he's all, okay. And then, you know, gives her her keys and starts to walk her to her car. And that's when we get that beautiful Hollywood Hills like dance sequence. This beautiful like dusk, like the sun is setting. It's like purples and oranges and
It's truly
pinks,
a California
like,
sunset.
like it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite scenes because like it starts out as like they start to sing a little bit and then they sit down on the bench and it gets really like this is where it like turns into like a whole like dance number where like, you know, he like kicks the dirt at her and she's like,
I think that part's
what
so
the
funny.
heck? And then you know they start doing this whole dance routine and it's beautifully choreographed. It was one of those things where like I kind of forgot I was watching a musical. And then when that came on, I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot this is
A musical.
Like
Yeah.
there's gonna be like dance numbers in it, and this was one of those things where I was like, wait, I really like this though. Like them, you know, tapping and doing all their stuff. Like
Yeah.
it was really fun to watch, and I just really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You like that scene too, Avery?
I loved the scene. So I actually wrote it down as I love their first dancing scene. Their chemistry is literally the best because, and I wrote it down even before their dancing. It was when she was switching her shoes.
Yeah.
You can see him. He looks at her, and then she like turns back away, and then she looks at him and like looks away. Like I just loved it. I was like, bro, they are beautiful together. They are meant for each other. They're perfect. That's immediately what I thought, and the whole dancing sequence shows that like it was the missing puzzle piece to their puzzle.
Yeah.
I don't know if that made sense what I said.
No, it's
But
yeah.
I don't know. I loved it. But my next favorite scene was, I think, I have it down as he's so supportive, and it's when she gets the call back.
Oh yeah.
And so I think it's after the coffee shop.
Wait, the callback.
No, yeah, because
Oh, her first callback and it doesn't work out.
and it doesn't
Oh,
work
gotcha,
out.
gotcha,
Yes,
gotcha,
yes.
gotcha.
But he's like so.
I was like, dude, you skipped to the end.
no, no.
That made me think of one of the auditions she does for like the teacher.
Oh, that's one of my favorite quotes. It's one of
She's
my
also, no, Jamal, you be tripping.
it's my favorite quote.
That's so funny, dude. I laughed hard at that, dude. I was
Yeah.
dying at that.
But it's actually he shows up to her work, which she works at a coffee shop.
Oh, it's so cute too.
And it is super cute. And so they're hanging out, and she finally, I think they go to this jazz spot or this this
no,
jazz.
so they walk around the studio for a little while.
Yes.
she shows him,
And then she says, you know, I have to
I
tell you this
hate
right now, but
jazz.
I hate jazz. And he's
and
all,
he's like,
what?
he's all, what?
How can you hate jazz?
And she's like, when I listen to it, I don't like it.
yeah.
And he's all,
He's like, what are you doing right now?
yeah. And this
Yeah.
goes into my favorite scene as well.
Yes.
Whenever he takes her to the jazz club.
Takes her to the jazz club,
So
and you see her. She goes, "Hi, I missed a call." Says her name. She goes, "Okay, thank you," and then goes back to him. She goes, "I got a call back. And he goes, "Awesome." And he knows exactly what she was talking about, like the show she got the call back for. And I was
Dangerous
like,
Minds meets the OC.
yeah. And he's already so supportive, and they're not even together. They're not even a couple. She's seen someone else that we know of.
Yeah.
And already he is like her number one cheerleader. And I was like, bro, I love this. I love him.
Yeah.
And that was my next favorite scene.
Yeah.
yeah, just to go back to that jazz scene, you know, and it kind of hits on, you know, what we talked about during the Whiplash episode, but it's incredible to see this like jazz number going on and him explaining how full of tension and compromise it is to her.
Yeah. I love it.
And showing her that it's more than just, you know, elevator music like she thinks it is.
He says this line, I'm probably going to butcher it. I don't know it off the rip, but he says that like jazz started out in this small little room in the South, and people couldn't talk with one another because they couldn't understand each other, but they could talk through music.
That's all they had.
And that's all that they had. So they would get, a ton of people who were great at music in a room, and they would have a conversation with one another.
Mhm.
And like while he's saying that, he's like, look, like the trumpet just took the conversation in a whole different direction. And now he's going to have something to say before, the saxophone has something to say, and he's going to take that in an entirely new direction. It's new and it's exciting every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And I love watching him be passionate about something he loves, and it makes me like love him for that.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy like his just zeal for something that he loves, and it just seeking out into everything that he like talks about and loves, and you can just tell that this guy truly does love jazz.
Mm-hmm. And that's when we get his big goal of starting his own called Chicken and Stick.
Yeah.
Chicken on a Stick. Which I think is cool. I love that whole dynamic between the two. But that's where, we get that whole dialogue of he's like, "What? You've never seen it? Well,
Yeah,
let's
you've never
go."
seen Rebel Without a Cause?
Yeah,
and
it's
she's
like
all, no, I haven't. And he like says the line. She's all, I got the bullets. And she's all, I've never seen it. He's all, oh, well, it's playing at the Rialto, like 10 o'clock. Like, I'll come pick you up. We'll go see it.
For research.
Yeah.
And at this moment, I don't think we know that she's dating someone yet.
No, yeah, we do.
I don't think we do.
Because she
She does mention it.
She
I
does
believe,
mention he
on the
right
walk,
after
on the walk over.
on the
true,
walk over.
huh,
He
'cause
goes,
she got a
long
call.
how long
Yeah.
have you been seeing this guy? And she goes, for about a month or so. I think
okay.
his name is Ryan or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
then-
you're right.
And then they get to that scene.
I was still kind of shook though, because she is getting all dolled up, all ready to go, and then he walks in and is like, "Hey, my brother's
Oh, that's
in
right
town."
after.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
on top. She's like, "Oh, we gotta go have dinner with this guy," and
I hate him.
well, it's not that I hate it. It's just so, like, it just feels so wrong from
Yeah.
what we've seen already. It's
Yeah,
this
I
lively,
also-
jovial person to just this guy talking about his vacation. Where was it? Like Venezuela or something
Yeah.
like that.
I also think it's really interesting how they dressed those characters in such drab colors. Like he was dressed in like a gray suit and like didn't have much color to him, whereas like Mia was the only one
She
to
had
like
wearing
had
green.
that vibrant green dress.
All her
And
dresses
like everyone else at that table
hit
had like
real quick.
Hit.
Hit different.
Yeah.
The blue dress that she puts on in the very beginning, I'm just gonna leave it right there.
but I think it's really interesting that she is the only one that like is of vibrance. Like everyone else is dull and like dumbed down, and it feels like
And you could definitely feel it.
You can feel it, but also it feels like the director did that as like she is like the diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Right. Like she is the one that is still holding on to her dreams, and you can tell by the way she dresses and the color that she is dressed in, and that, the colors they decide to use for her. Whereas the people who are now like obsessed with the vacations and making money and their jobs and stuff are now, very like business
Yeah.
casual, like gray suits, those like blue button ups with the white collar.
Mhm.
Like they look normal.
I also really didn't like Ryan's brother when he was just dogging on the theaters, and she kept her
yeah.
mouth shut the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like,
It was just kind of
disrespecting.
it was reminding her of what she is missing out on,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know. And I really love it too, because they're throughout this whole dinner scene they're integrating it with him, like standing out there all dressed up nice, waiting for her.
Yeah.
And it gets super late, and he goes like,
Dude, he's in that fire khaki suit.
dude,
all his fits as well.
His suit, the
it's just
suit.
Ryan Gosling though. He looks
Yeah, he
he
just looks good. in
immaculate.
he looks
everything.
good at everything.
He looks.
this guy.
He does. It sucks. Like whenever I saw him like standing outside, I was like, bro, that suit is so nice.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking about it, and I was like, I could probably never pull off something like that because I don't look like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I told Lisa, I was like, man, I gotta get in shape.
Yeah. And I felt so bad too because I was just like,
He was waiting out
dude, like
there.
he's
And
getting
he
stood
even
up,
goes
you
in.
know.
He's gonna watch it.
That was
yeah.
actually a bro moment of mine. I was like, I literally put I hate it that I wrote it like this. I feel so bad for Seabass because his real name is Sebastian, but I call him Seabass.
Or
And,
Seb, yeah.
Seb.
and I was like, I can't believe she did that.
Yeah.
And then we get to the part where they're playing that song,
I love it, dude.
and
Yeah.
she
And
looks
she
up.
notices it.
Yeah,
It like
And
almost
then-
drowns out everything else.
Mm-hmm.
and then I just love. She goes, "I'm sorry," and oh,
Yeah.
Sprints.
Starts running.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say too, I really love the shot whenever she goes to the theater and goes up in front.
Dude, the
And-
look,
and
the look.
dude, the projection
It's
of
so
like
sick.
of her, like you the movie's playing over top of her. It's beautiful.
So sick,
it's
dude.
literally as I watched, I turned to Lex and I was like, "Tell me it's not a beautiful shot." And she was all, "Yeah, that's pretty." And I was like, "Dude, that is so sick. I love the way they did that." And then you know, they end up finding each other. And they go and watch the movie.
It's like
And,
the
dude,
little
I couldn't-
romance.
Dude, I couldn't stop cheesing at this moment whenever they're like finally like together, they're watching, and you're getting these like these overhead shots of them like putting their hands on
Inching-
the
yeah, they're
I wrote it
inching their
down
hair.
and I said, "Bro, this is if this wasn't my first relationship where I like was scared to
This
grab,
is how it works, right?
like
Yeah.
I was scared to grab her hand, and I was like, bro, that's literally what I did."
Yeah,
Like,
I know. And
I-
like that's why I was cheesing so hard because like I feel like everyone has had that moment.
Yeah,
And
sure.
so when you're watching it happen for the first time in a relationship that is blossoming,
You're like, oh.
it's making you feel those feelings, and dude, it started making me teary eyed because I was
no,
just like, I was like,
it
this is
literally-
so cute.
it literally was like, "Oh, bro," I'm like, that was such a cute moment, and I was
Yeah.
like, I remember when I did that, and I was like, let's go. I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I loved it. I love every minute of it. And then I love how, you know, they're about to kiss and then the film burns.
Dude,
Yeah.
I said, talk about a
And-
vibe killer right there.
Yeah. And then
It
they're,
led to something even greater.
yeah, she's like, I have an idea.
Let's go
And
to
they-
the Griffith Hall.
Yeah. And so they go to the
Griffith
observatory.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been?
No, I haven't.
No, I want to. I want to.
It's so beautiful.
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
But-
And that whole number that they do together.
Dude, this was okay. Whenever I want to tell you
It's
guys, whenever I
heavenly.
first
It's-
watched this movie and it gets to the planetarium where they like start floating and they're waltzing in space, I got goosebumps like on my couch. Like I was on my couch and I was just like, this is gorgeous. Like this is an entire like experience, like a whole spectacle
Yeah.
to sit there and watch and be like, this is why I love movies,
Yeah.
dude. Like they make each other feel like they're like in space, just floating. They have no
Yeah.
gravity. They are just, you know, so infatuated with one another. And I love every minute of it. And you just hear this gorgeous music playing while these two are waltzing in the stars. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful scene. I love how they like when they start floating. too.
Yeah.
Dude, oh,
and,
he's
and when
dancing.
they sit too. Like
Oh
it's,
my
And
gosh.
that's a reverse shot. Did you know?
yeah, I thought so too.
It's so so gentle and smooth.
Yeah, I had thought so with the way they filmed it because
Like-
the way they sat down perfectly, I
Yeah.
was like, "There's no way they did that."
There's
like,
no way they could
first try.
float down on probably on wires
Yeah.
and be like look so graceful.
Yeah, and I had read too that like
That's like one of his signature.
yeah
things,
they,
right?
they were like sitting down and then you know the lights turned on because in that scene they fade out or fade in or something like that.
Yeah.
So they fade out and then they're sitting and then they eventually, you know, walk through the whole thing and float
Wow.
up, but then they flip it so that way it looks like they're, you know, gently floating down.
That's
into
so
their
cool.
seats.
I didn't know that.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then when they kiss finally, I'm just all I'm cheesing.
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
My cheeks are hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
I love it so much, man.
My next one is this. It's just a sequence, but it's when it changes into summer, where we get that frame, that picture that says summer, and it shows them all the dates that they're going on. I just love seeing.
It's like a montage.
yeah, a montage. I just love seeing their relationship blossoming, and just it's
Yeah.
going
Seb says,
so good.
Seb says go Dodgers.
Go Giants. And it's just so beautiful seeing them together. And it's like, again, the outfits they're wearing, they're so bright.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and it gives me like a 50s vibe. Like they're like
It
in
does,
the old. I like to think of the oldies age.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
he's got like the camp collar shirt.
Exactly.
And like the pleated pants.
Yeah, and
all
I'm
that
like,
stuff.
they both look beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing the relationship. And like, again, it was the missing puzzle piece to their puzzle.
Mhm.
And I just love that montage of just all their dates they were going on. It was just
Yeah.
really, really beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite scene after this is, you know, he's playing his piano in his apartment, and she walks in, and he's singing "City of Stars." And
Yeah.
I freaking love this song.
Me
I'm not
too.
gonna lie, like this song
This is the song that gets stuck in my head.
is the song that I like wish I could have enough like motivation to learn on piano and just
Mm.
Yeah.
I'd be playing that for every
I-
occasion. I'd be like, hey, you heard City of Stars? Oh, I got you. Hold up. I would carry like a little piano with me just to play it.
Yeah.
Just get the
I-
piano on your iPhone. And just
Dude, imagine.
I love it. I had text these guys today while I was at work, and I was like, dude, tell me why I can't get these songs out of my head. I kept whistling City of Stars like all day.
I was nervous you guys were gonna message about it, and I was like, oh, thank God you guys didn't message about it, because
Yeah.
obviously I didn't know about it.
Yeah. And the only reason why I like this a lot too is because it's kind of like their like the first time they're pretty much saying like I love you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole song is about like City of Stars, will you shine for me? They're talking about it's love. It's
Yeah.
all we're looking for, and they're kind
Yeah.
of finding that in each other,
Mhm.
and to see their relationship grow to that level is just. I love it.
Yeah.
I love to see them, bolstering each other with their passions.
Yes.
He's, telling her like, "Hey, do it," and she's even telling him like, "Hey, I want your place to be successful. You should name it Chicken on a Stick.
Yeah, you shouldn't name
It's
it
like,
Chicken on a Stick.
Get a
Name it
new name.
Sebs.
Yeah, name it Sebs. Do apostrophe. Not like
Yeah.
they're both helping each other get to that place that they need to.
Yeah.
That they
Yeah.
wouldn't be without each other.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah. I have to say I jump pretty far ahead from here because my next favorite scene is whenever Seb surprises Mia with dinner.
Mine's seeing the messengers perform,
Yeah, that's
okay.
my next favorite one as well.
and I just love it because she's finally seeing him. At least he's happy. He looks happy.
Well,
I don't think so. When I
it's
when I
kind
watched
of like
that,
she's taken back.
yeah,
like,
she's
Well,
like,
yeah,
this is what you're playing. This is not what you love.
yeah,
Yes.
and visually you can see the crowd kind of overtaking
Yes,
her.
yes.
Yeah.
But you see that he's happy. At least
I
he
think
looks happy.
in a certain way he's happy. He's happy that he's successful,
performing.
that he's
Yeah,
performing.
He's making money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. See, that kind of hit. Like the music kind of hit.
I agree.
I'm not a big fan of the
What?
You didn't like it?
Messengers. I'm not a big fan of it.
I
I just
would
don't think
listen
I don't think I'm a big fan of John Legend in general.
Oh,
But
So-
it's not John Legend.
Yeah, it is.
it's Keith.
It's Keith.
As John Legend.
It's John Legend.
It is John Legend. But I think I also wrote it down because I loved the music and I was like, I can listen to this. So I don't know.
I don't know. This is one of my favorite scenes only because it's seeing that transition of him, being he was a staunch like. No, it's got to be 100% pure jazz, and it like nothing else will ever be in my club, right? And we know this about him, but now he's kind of compromising that to be successful, to get money, to because he overhears a conversation of me on the phone with her mom saying like, yeah, he's gonna open it, oh, he's saving money, like she's kind of a little bit worrisome,
Yeah.
because he's on his butt, and the whole time I love it too, because he's looking up at the ceiling, seeing that stain,
Yeah.
and it probably is like a jab at his pride too, because he's, he wants to be successful, he wants to provide for her, but
Yeah.
he has to compromise some of his things, and I like Keith as a character. I don't know how you guys feel about him.
Yeah, I like him as a character because he challenges Seb
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
says that like you're so stuck in your traditionalist mindset that you like that's why jazz is dying.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not allowing jazz to have a future because you're keeping it stuck in its ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite quotes is from Keith, but I appreciated that, and it was the first time we saw him kind of compromising some of those traditionalist values,
Yeah.
and Mia noticing and being like, this isn't really the man that I met,
Yeah.
and she's kind of taken aback by it.
Yeah.
So that's why I appreciated it.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, that is like the catalyst, I believe, for the dinner they have, because at that point, the messengers have been touring, they haven't seen each other in a while,
Mhm.
and Seb gets the opportunity to surprise Mia with dinner. And first off, I just gotta say it starts off so cute. Like
It's-
whenever like she comes in and she hears like the jazz music playing, she's like, "What the heck is going on?" And walks in, and he just walks in with this oven mitt and this
And
plate, and he
jumps.
jumps real hard. And he's all
Surprise.
surprise, like
yeah, yeah.
And she's like, "I didn't think I was gonna see you." And he's like, I had to, I try to get off early, so I'm here. I want to spend the night with you, and
Mhm.
just have this date with one another before I go back on the road. And it's such a a cute, fun time before it's not.
Yeah.
And this is one of the scenes where I'm kind of like, man, this cute dinner turned into something so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I had also written down, I don't like watching mommy and daddy fight.
No, you're lying.
It's the same as
I wrote
same
this-
with Celine and the other guy too.
Yeah.
This was a bro moment for me. So it was,
Yeah, I just have to say I love this because I appreciate that Mia's character is not one to shy away from confrontation, especially when it gets into Seb, and confronting him about the music that he's playing, and saying that, like, this isn't what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
You said that you would only ever want to do this stuff and you would go full in with that. But then I understand, I understand where Seb is coming from and having to, compromise your dreams, because unfortunately that's just life sometimes.
Yeah.
And like, I can totally identify with Seb and hearing that conversation on the phone and having your pride be hurt by like, oh, like I'm not providing.
Yeah.
And the thing that I want so bad is just, it's not working right now. I need to compromise and find something. And for him, that was playing music that he wasn't very passionate about. But he's getting paid $1,000 a week. He's getting
Part of the commission.
part of merchandise sales and streaming sales and record sales. Like,
He's doing good.
he's
That's
he's
the deal.
he's doing well for himself.
Oh,
yeah.
And it's something that he doesn't want to do, but is doing it so that way he can provide.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I really enjoy when a character gets put in a situation like that, because it feels real and it feels like something that a lot of people can identify with, especially myself.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that Mia brings that out and confronts him on it. And I like that Seb kind of gets hurt by it and is kind of like, well, what about you? Like, how am I supposed to take advice from you? Like, you're the actor.
Well, yeah,
And and it gets in this whole confrontation. They just break out in this fight, and
Yeah. I
it's
appreciate
rough.
it. It's bringing a lot of his insecurities out too, because he's this like he's always like, F them. Who cares what they think about you? You're gonna do great, and you're gonna do what you want to do, and you're gonna love it. And if you love it, then that's good. And obviously, she's turning the tables and throwing that back at him, saying, like, when do you? Because he's saying, I'm finally doing something successful. I'm finally doing something that people enjoy. Like, it doesn't matter if I don't like it, people like it. And she goes, well, when the heck did you ever care about being liked? And he's like, well, what about you? You're an actress. And
yeah.
And of course, that's kind of where it kind of dies down. And he
Yeah.
goes, I think you like being with me when I was down on my luck, because you like to feel better about yourself.
Oh man, and that's a rough one. Like,
Yeah.
you see, like, Mia just start welling up with tears.
Yeah.
She's
Well,
like,
you-
"Are you kidding me right now?"
She's like, did you really just say that to me?
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it too, because it's dead silent.
Yeah,
And we're just
the
like-
music stops too, and you see the record just
Yeah,
sitting
and we're
on
like,
its end. It's
And then the fire alarm turns on.
yeah. I have to say too, dude.
Saved by
like-
the Bell.
Dude,
Well,
no, the sound bar and subwoofer that I have, when it went off, I was like, "Is that in our house?" Like, it felt like it was really going off, and I was like, "I don't think we have a smoke alarm place actually." So I don't know. I don't think we do, but I was like, "That's for sure not happening in our place."
Don't
But-
tell the city that. They'll come and find you.
Yeah. This also, the place we live wasn't made for
True.
living. So,
True.
Yeah.
It's
But-
all right. We're thriving.
Good. Yeah. Good. I loved that fight scene.
Yeah.
Honestly. And
But yeah, my last favorite scene is like that like 9-minute ending.
My last favorite scene is actually, I have two. Mine is the ending, but also seeing him yell when he goes to pick her up in Nevada.
I love it too. I like that a lot.
Oh, when he's
When
all,
he was
when he's
like,
all,
"What?"
She's like, stop yelling. She's like, no.
Dude, I lost it. I was like, one thing that really worked for me that I'm just gonna say real quick is seeing him in a different film. Seeing Ryan Gosling actually have a personality
Yeah.
and talking, and I don't know, he was blooming. Like, he was at full bloom right now.
Mhm.
And I was like, bro, I love Ryan Gosling. What am I saying? I don't know.
Gosling.
Gosling. Okay, I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that. And seeing him yell, I was like, bro, he's such a good actor. And I just loved it, seeing him, like, you were so passionate for one thing, and now you're not going to do it just because you're here.
Mm.
Like, keep on doing it. Like, he's like, even though they're broken up, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
at that point, he's still so supportive of her and wants the best for her.
Yeah.
And I just loved it.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, especially with the call that he gets. I mean, it's like
Like, that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
So
opportunity.
Yeah.
he's there, and
it-
she's
and-
gonna go.
Yeah, and it ends up catapulting her entire career.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kicks into my last favorite scene, which is that whole ending sequence when we find out that it's 5 years later, and now Mia is the girl who goes into that coffee shop.
Dude,
It's the whole
And,
reversal.
you
what
know,
a clap back to
yeah,
her
that's
old
that's
job.
a glow up for sure. But she goes to she goes back to her old job. She pays for the coffee. She's no longer working there. She gets a ride on the golf cart. Like,
No, I insist.
yeah, and like it's this whole reversal of roles where she gets to go back to her old stomping grounds essentially.
Yeah.
And man, dude, that club scene is
Hits different.
it that's where I'm like, oh, dude, like it's where I start crying whenever like they're we see that she has a kid and she's married now to this other guy and they're going out on a date, and once they go, they're walking around and they walk past this jazz club and they're like you want to go
what
check
is
it out?
this?
Like,
Yeah.
let's go check it out. And they walk in, and as they're walking in, you see this blue neon and this red lighting. It's beautiful. And we get this like shocked look on Mia's face, and she sees that she just walked into Seb's.
Yeah.
And immediately when I saw Seb's and not chicken on a stick, I immediately was like, no. Like he really took her advice. Like he didn't go with what he wanted to do. He knew that her idea was better.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where I was like, oh man. Like immediately I was like, oh dude, okay, this is going to be bad. This is going to be sad. And they sit down and she's just in disbelief still. And they, you see this jazz quartet playing, and they're playing great. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And, Seb gets up there, owner of the club, and is like, hey, I want to introduce everybody. This guy on keys, this guy on drums. Here's the guy on bass and, sax and trumpet, and, just introducing everyone that's playing.
Yeah.
And that's when he catches eyes with Mia.
He like loses all words.
Yes.
He's like,
And
goes,
I have to say this.
Welcome to
because we I also believe I said the same thing in the Drive episode. Ryan Gosling has this ability to act and say everything without saying nothing.
Yeah.
Like and it's one of those, I don't know how he does it, but it's beautiful the way he does it, man. Like when I watch him just not say anything, he has this ability of facial acting where I can feel everything
Like,
he is feeling.
yeah, yeah.
And like when I saw him see her for the first time and he's just blank faced and just kind of like looking at each other, I immediately was just like my lips quivering, dude. And I was just like, dude, I couldn't imagine. And then he gets down and it's just like, welcome to Seb's.
So
and
at that
it's on
point,
the piano. I was just like, oh my gosh, dude.
Nick had snuck into my room to finish the end of the movie with
Oh
me.
yeah,
And
I'm always gonna watch that, dude.
And I immediately said, bro, no, I have two theories. And he didn't say anything, and I spoke out the theories out loud. I said he's either going to play that song that always catches her or City of Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And he immediately played their theme song.
Yeah.
And I said,
Dude,
bro.
that's when I started getting teary-eyed when he starts. When you hear the ding 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 ding. I immediately was just like, and I started ugly crying, dude. I was just like, oh, dude, no, like,
And it just takes you back to when they said, I'm always gonna love you.
yeah,
And that's what I immediately thought of. I was like, he obviously, and he hasn't moved on.
yes,
He is with no one. He's
Nope.
right. He's not with anyone, right?
not that we know.
Not
of.
that-
Not that we know of. And
He's married to the bar or his club.
And the club is what she wanted, what she said, and I was like, I didn't cry, but I definitely was like, I was feeling the emotions.
Yeah,
And
it's rough,
I mean,
man.
sorry I took it away from you, but I was just like,
I also want to go into the whole what if sequence.
Oh yeah.
and I
didn't know what that was all
I
about.
didn't know what that was all about. I was like, wait, maybe when she's with this other man, it's a dream.
No,
That's what I was.
I wished. I mean,
I wished.
That's what
I
I was
wished it was a
wishing.
dream.
That's what I was wishing.
I wish the what if sequence was real, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then it goes back.
It like walks
Oh
through
my
their
God.
life.
Yeah,
of
it
what,
walks through
what could have been.
the entire movie of what would have happened if something happened different.
Yeah.
And
If he totally like shoved off Keith and didn't worry about that side of his life.
yeah, and it's beautiful. I love that entire sequence and how beautifully choreographed it is, and the set design, and like it feels like we're walking through Paris, but it's obviously a set, like an old Hollywood set. And I love that entire sequence. It feels like there are like no cuts, and man, it makes me wish, like, man, I wish this is what happened. Like, it's
Yeah.
just so beautiful, and it's that happy ending, that typical Hollywood happy ending, but we get brought back to reality at the end of it, and I love the way Damien Chazelle ends his movies with
Yeah.
characters looking at each other and
Oh,
sharing
dude,
those glances.
That nod that he does.
So
Yeah, he
he,
just
so
says-
they
lost
they
it.
do the same thing with Whiplash.
Whiplash,
yeah. Yes.
At the end of
Where it's
Whiplash,
just
where it's
the-
just their eyes, and then you hear, like, you see them smiling with their
Yeah.
eyes.
He's
But
a-
then,
oh,
but
dude.
then with La La Land, they do the same thing, but it's that look of, like,
I'll see you again.
I remember you.
Yeah. It's
Like,
like, yeah.
I'll see you.
it's kind
you
of like
know?
acceptance a little
Yeah,
bit.
and oh man, I'm getting goosebumps.
I
thinking
like I
about
said, I
bro.
lost it when he just looks at her and he's smiling at this point, and he just barely nods his head, like acknowledges her that, like,
Yeah.
hey, I still know you, but you
And
have your
she-
life now.
Yeah, and she starts to smile too, and that's where I start crying again. dude. Me and Alexa started crying again, and I was just like, dude, like, it's so beautiful, and it's so sad, and this movie makes me feel all the emotions, and I don't know. I think I cry because it's that idea of love lost, right? Like, it's that idea of the right person, wrong time, and feeling all these things and what you thought was right, only to realize that life sometimes gets in the way, and not everything happens the way that we want it to.
I immediately finishing the movie. You busted in my door, and I said, "This cannot be real. This
Yeah.
cannot be it." But then it's true what you said. It's like, I mean, that's real life right there.
Yeah.
Life goes on,
Mhm.
and I was just like, "Come on," but
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I love it. And then it cuts to black. You see the end, and you
Credits.
hear credits, and
Yeah.
you hear the music. And I gotta say, man, like, as soon as it finished and the credits rolled and I started listening to music again, I immediately looked at Alexa and I said, how could this be anything less than a 10?
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
like this, because I got everything. Like, and it's a musical. Like, I wouldn't really like these, and it's got everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna
See,
give my rating away right now.
if you like this, you'll like the sound of music.
All right, I'll give it a chance.
Please, it's 3 hours long though.
Oh my God.
It's a hefty
Alright.
one.
But I'm just saying, like, this movie had everything, and
Mhm.
I loved every bit of it. But I think we've talked about
We talked the movie.
all of our
Majority,
all of our
yeah.
favorite scenes. So let's get into best quote then.
I only wrote down two. I was just paying attention to the movie as much as I can.
Yeah.
And the first one that I wrote was Sebastian having his conversation with his sister Laura, and he goes to say, "I'm letting life hit me until it gets tired, then I'll hit back." It's
Yeah.
a classic rope and dope.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I loved
Yeah.
it because, I mean, he's just like, I'm seeing what I can handle,
Mhm.
and once I'm done, I'm gonna fight back.
Yeah.
And that's the way like I interpreted it. I was
Yeah.
like,
That's honorable.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And I was like, dude, good for you. Like, you're sticking with what you want to do, and you're gonna stick through it as hard as it gets. He's gonna continue to do it.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, I was watching Shark Tank the other day, and they were talking about the American dream, and it's like you work for it as much as you can, and that's what it kind of got me too. I was like, that's the American dream right there. You're gonna work for what you want until you get it.
Mm.
And I was like,
That's just passion.
yeah,
Yeah.
Is what it boils down to, right?
Yeah. Most definitely.
That's one of them that I wrote down.
One of my quotes is from Keith, like I said earlier. I don't have the entire long thing, but it's one of the ones that starts to challenge Seb a little bit. But he goes, "How are you gonna be a revolutionary if you're such a traditionalist? You hold on to the past, but jazz is about the future."
Yeah.
And that's kind of him talking about, like, jazz is dying because of people like you. You're not willing to change with the times. You're not willing to try new things.
Yeah.
He's like, if jazz is so good, then where's all the young people at?
Yeah.
Like, you're playing the 90-year-olds at the bar. Like, that's not jazz anymore.
Yeah.
And I guess some will argue, and I don't know the validity to that, but it was cool to see him, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely.
So that's why I liked it.
One of my favorite quotes comes from Mia, and I believe it's whenever she's talking to Sebastian in that jazz club, and she says, "People love what other people are passionate about."
Mm.
And that rang true for me, man, because I immediately loved Seb and his passion for
Yeah.
jazz,
Yeah.
and just how grateful that man is for music and what it's done for him and changed his life. And I had to say it's one of the ones that stuck out to me.
Yeah, and that's the majority of the reason why I watch certain people I do on YouTube or on different podcasts. It's the way they talk about their passions.
Yeah.
If they were just so bland and boring and just doing it as a job, you wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
They have to have that love behind it,
Yeah.
right? And you could tell when
Yeah.
it's fake or when it's real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think
I
Most
hope
definitely.
people can hear that with us.
yeah.
I would
Otherwise,
hope
we'd be
so.
like, all right, today
We're
you
so
know,
monotone. Just, hey, welcome back to the Film Bros podcast. My name
the
is
way
Isaiah.
you did that reminded me of that lady on Euphoria.
dude.
she's all, okay, you want 50,000?
She's
all,
the-
oh, let's start a little lower, like
Yeah.
maybe 10,000. Okay.
She's the lady in Marriage Story.
Yes.
The weird,
Yeah, the social
awkward
worker.
counselor. Yeah.
She's all, you think you cut yourself? You're bleeding right there.
she plays such an awkward good character. I love it.
Yeah.
But
She's
yeah.
great.
That's how we would sound if we had no passion.
Yeah.
I hope it's, yeah.
I got one more.
I have one more, and it's just a funny one that I thought I was like, I wish Mia would say it to Sebastian at times, and it's Pisicaka.
Yeah.
Pisicaka.
Pishikaka.
Pisicaka.
My last one is the little exchange that that Mia and Seb have with one another at the party. And Mia says, "It's pretty strange that we keep running into each other." And Sebastian replies with, "Maybe maybe it means something." And Mia says, "I doubt it." And Sebastian says, "Yeah, I didn't think so."
It's funny they do that too with like they're like, oh, this is a beauty. Look at this scene. She goes, oh, I've seen better. He goes, yeah, this sucks.
Dude,
Yeah.
but that's
It
when
is-
they're literally right outside of.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of beautiful, but it's those dead trees.
They're
It's-
looking
no,
they're
it's-
looking up at the Griffith Observatory.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true.
And they do it as like a, of course, like, you know, that's their
That's their-
jovialness. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I love that.
Okay. Any other best quotes?
Nope, that's all I have.
That's it for me.
All right, let's get into bro moments.
Yeah, I have quite a few.
My first one is when Mia gets her audition cut
Dude,
off.
that's my first one. I would be so
I was
mad.
frustrated, man. Like when you see the guy come in out of focus and it's just like, hey, so and so wants to know what kind of sandwich you want. I'd be like, I'm doing a job here, and you're gonna come in and be like, hey, sandwich.
Are you talking about the one where she's on, like, she's
Yeah, when
faking
she's-
on
when
the
she's
phone?
faking on the phone. And
then
I think the intern is like has a sticky note and sticks it through like the thing of the
the
of
window,
the door.
and they're out of focus, and then they're like, well, just hold on a second. What do you want? And like she's like completely like engulfed in this scene.
Well,
And
she's
then-
like trying.
Yeah,
to
she's
start
like
crying.
trying to like get into it, and then immediately she's like, "Oh, can you stop?" And she just kind of like,
She's like,
"Okay," and like is just like brought out of it, and it's just like, okay," and then it's just because they want to know what sandwich you want. And she's like, give me this, and then she's like, "Okay, I think we've seen enough, thank you." It's just like,
I would be
you
so.
kidding me, dude?
I would throw hands.
it's frustrating, and
I would
it sucks
throw
because like
hands.
I believe that's a lot of what Hollywood is. It's
No, yeah.
you get your 5 seconds, and if you don't wow someone within those 5 seconds, you're out.
Yeah.
And they move on to the next one, and yeah, it's rough.
yeah, one of my next bro moments is her actual good interview where she does her play, and her play didn't have that big of a turnout, but it had one specific person there, just like the song.
Yeah.
And she gets a call from, she's some prestigious lady. Not
Mhm.
exactly sure who she is, but she gets a chance, and she goes, and she the lady's like, we're trying to build the character or the story around the character, so just tell us the story. You're good at that. And she's like, huh? She goes, okay, I'll do it. She starts to talk about her aunt
Yeah. And goes into the whole singing.
and goes into the whole singing. I loved that it felt very vulnerable too.
Yeah. Here's to the ones who dream.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I don't just see her just like, because of course the music, the lights go down again, and
Yeah.
she's spotlighted on there again,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes into it, and it's just her standing in her normal outfit, just belting these
Yeah.
powerful lyrics about her aunt and how she is like,
She said she would, jump in this like icy cold water again, like because it made her feel alive.
and that's like what the world needs,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. My next one, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
My next one's when the photo shoot is on the
Biting
night.
his lip.
Yeah.
God.
Well, that entire scene is like, I'm like, dude, this is not what you want
Bite
to
your
be doing.
lips.
So
Look at me.
cringe.
Put your glasses down.
Yeah, and he's he's all like this.
He has no lips. The guy's like,
Yeah.
he looks like
Yeah, he looks bad.
he looks bad.
But the whole like sequence of him being like, hey, you're going to the photo shoot tonight, right?
Yeah.
He's all, what do you mean?
I
He's
thought
all, I thought that
next
was
is-
next Thursday, and he's all, no, it's tonight. and it's the night of Mia's play,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, dude, like you guys are already having problems, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, are you kidding me, man? Really?
It's
And the entire time he's just like, oh yeah, bite your lip like this, and pull your glasses down all the way down.
He looks
look.
like a fool.
Yeah,
dude.
and like he's wearing this hat that like, you know, he would never wear, and he's like, oh, play something. You're a pianist, go play something for me.
Of
And he
course.
starts to play the theme, and you know, he's just fully engulfed in that moment. And while he's like, again, it's one of those moments where Ryan Gosling says nothing but says everything.
He just looks up and is like,
Yeah, and the entire time that's happening, the photographer's just like, oh yeah, give me more of that, like just taking all these pictures. Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, keep going. It's like he's having this full moment here, and this guy just isn't getting the picture and is just like, yeah, it's rough.
yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, I hate the boss at the barista at the coffee shop. I just wanted throwing that out there. I hate her. But my next bro moment is when she straight up goes and says it's over.
Oh yeah.
And at that point
He misses it.
yeah, he misses it, and he messed up, and
Yeah.
he realizes that he messed up.
Mhm.
But and we truly don't know what she meant by it's over at that point. But obviously the audience is there to assume like the relationship is over.
yeah,
And she goes and says, I'm going home. And he goes, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And she goes, no, I'm going home.
and he says, this is your home.
And then no, we see her. She's on her way to Nevada. And I was like, no way. Like, just like that, you just can throw it all away.
Yeah,
And I felt so bad for her because that was her dream.
yeah.
And
It's one of those things where you have to be able to be vulnerable and put yourself out there,
Yeah.
and doing something that you're passionate about is scary.
Yeah.
It's something that you are letting someone in to your life, and she did this entire play about, like, it's almost autobiographical, and to only have 5 or 6 people show up, it's kind of like,
And then hear all that criticism afterwards.
yeah, and then afterwards being like, that wasn't even good.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
oh man,
kinda-
it's just got to be crushing
Yeah.
to hear.
You have to be really resilient to
Yeah.
get through something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. I felt so bad for her too when she was like, I'm going to have to pay the theater back. Like, I didn't even get to, like, cover my expenses. Like, I have to pay the theater now. Yeah, it's
It's crazy.
Yeah.
rough.
One of my next bro moments is when we get to see that she has a kid.
Yeah, me
That-
too. When she sees, it's 5 years later and she's married and has a kid. I was just like,
Real quick.
I know she goes up and kisses that guy, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
You know?
Who that guy? What is he from? Because he looks super familiar.
I'm not sure. He looked
No.
familiar too
No
to me,
idea.
but I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
Absolutely
I was
no
struggling because I was like, who is that?
Yeah.
But that was honestly that was my last one.
Yeah, same here. Any other ones for you, Abe?
No, that was it actually.
All right, well then let's get into the facts.
Yeah. So I'll start with the budget, and obviously we heard it was made with $30 million. Opening weekend, it brought $881,000. Gross for U.S. and Canada, it brought $151.1 million. And worldwide, it made $448.9 million.
Oh my god. dude.
Almost $500 million
Wow.
Wow.
That's
from 30 million.
that's crazy. That's awesome.
That's
That's
amazing. That's ridiculous how good
Yeah,
that is.
and I have to say, like, I think this movie, along with Whiplash, like, turned Damien Chazelle into, like, a household name almost.
One of the greats.
Like, he's like, he's one of those guys where he's just like, oh yeah, like, I want to go see what he has to do next.
Mhm.
Like, he is a great director and he knows what he's doing, and I'm really excited to see what he's gonna do next.
Babylon.
Yeah, like,
Looking good.
yeah, I'm really hyped to check out everything that he has to put out after,
Yeah.
because he's just a guy that knows what he wants and what he's doing.
I wonder if it getting the nomination for Best Picture of the Year. I wonder if that helped with sales as well.
Oh, for sure.
Because whenever I see Best Picture, that's why I watched Nomadland. Because I was like, dude, it's Best Picture. I gotta see what all the buzz is about.
yeah,
So I wonder if it had that same effect to it.
more than likely. Yeah, I want to go ahead and name off all the Oscars it won.
Yeah, go ahead.
It won 6 Oscars. It won Emma Stone won Best Actress for this film. It won Best Directing. Best Cinematography,
Yep.
Best Original Score,
Hmm.
Best Original Song, and Best Production Design.
Wow.
It was nominated for Best Actor and Best Picture as well. But it lost Best Picture and Best Actor. Oh, and also Best Screenplay. It was nominated for Best Screenplay.
Who won Best Actor that year? Was it?
Oh, I forget.
I don't know.
I'm not sure exactly. I would think if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Mahershala Ali.
Oh
2017, right?
no, I think it was. I remember us talking about Mahershala Ali winning some kind of award
I think it was him.
on Moonlight
Possibly.
episode. Yeah, because he won Best Actor but he was the supporting role.
Supporting role.
Yeah, I remember something like that. Okay.
He-
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Marshall Ali.
Mahershala Ali. Okay.
He won.
Yeah, see.
He won Best Supporting Actor.
Best Supporting Actor.
Who was Best Lead?
Best Lead, right
Does it
here.
say?
Let's see.
Is Ryan in there?
No.
I think he may have been in Supporting.
Where the heck is Lead? Oh, Best Actor.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it- It was Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, that's a great one too, dude. That was a hard year. Manchester by the Sea is.
I know. Now that we've covered more of these movies that are nominated
Yeah, because
for
I'm
Best
looking.
Picture,
I'm looking at the movies that were on here.
Manchester by the Sea hits.
Zootopia
wild.
came out that year.
You see what I'm saying? They have a really hard job. to
Hacksaw
choose.
Ridge came out that year. Arrival came out that year.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, that's crazy.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Suicide Squad. I can care less about that.
We gotta do Suicide Squad one of these days.
The
dude.
Jungle Book.
Dude, wait a minute. I was watching something.
The Salesman.
I was watching something on Prime this past weekend, and I was going through the movies that says like what you might like, and I saw one that said it was called Llamageddon.
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 Is it an Armageddon of llamas?
It was rated R, and it was one of those movies where like it was knowingly bad.
Yeah, it's like Rubber or
Yeah,
Sharknado.
And I honestly saw that and I was like, dude, we should do that for the pod.
That'd be fun. I want to do a trash movie.
I
dude.
want to too.
That'd be funny.
It'll be fun. I'm gonna get into a couple more of the facts though now, real quick. So, I want to talk about one of these real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and break this down. So, this is wild to me, but Ryan Gosling learned how to play piano for this film.
Yeah, and John Legend learned how to play guitar.
Yeah.
That's so impressive. Both.
Yeah. So according to
So
the
talented.
according to the composer Justin Hurwitz, all the piano performances featured in the film were first recorded by a pianist, Randy Kerber, during pre-production. But then Ryan Gosling would spend 2 hours a day, 6 days a week in piano lessons learning all the music by heart. And then by the time filming had begun, Gosling was able to play all the piano sequences seen in the film without the use of a hand double or CGI. So like him actually playing all that
With him
is
playing.
truly him playing.
Heck yeah.
Which is crazy. I'd also seen something that like John Legend was super jealous as to like how quick Ryan Gosling got good at the piano.
Yeah, that's the kind of discipline I need.
Yeah.
But I'm very impressed because that's not easy to
no,
do at all.
not at all.
One of the facts I had, I thought it was really interesting. So Emma Watson turned down the role for Mia due to scheduling conflicts with Beauty and the Beast,
Yes.
while Ryan Gosling turned down that role for Beauty and the Beast to appear in this one.
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
how different of a movie would it be with Emma Watson instead of Emma Stone?
I don't think it would have been the success it
Which
was.
is
You don't
crazy
think so?
because Emma Stone dropped out later of Meg March from Little Women to be in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, she was supposed to be Meg from Little Women.
Wow,
but
one of your
my
goats?
favorite movies.
Yeah, but then Emma Watson ended up being Meg, while Emma Stone ended up promoting the movie she did, The Favorite,
Mm-hmm.
in 2018.
Yeah.
How it all worked out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of another actress to fill this role other than Emma Stone.
Yeah, me either.
She's just incredible.
Yeah, she has that je ne sais quoi
Yeah.
about her, where like I couldn't picture anyone else in this role but her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I had going to your Oscar nominations, this movie shares the record for most Oscar nominations with Titanic and All About Ever.
I think it's 14. though.
14.
Wow.
Yeah.
14 Oscar noms.
Oscar nom. So that's pretty exciting. It's pretty
That's
cool.
Yeah.
Wild.
And
For
and
sure.
it won 12 out of the 14.
No, 6.
6?
Yeah.
I thought it's 12. My bad.
funny thing is, Tom Hanks was so impressed by the film that during a press conference for his film Sully, he's told all the reporters to go and see the film whenever they could.
Yeah,
He's like,
I saw that.
He's like, I know we're talking about Sully right now, but go watch La La Land.
That's
It's so
great.
good.
That's great.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was pretty cool, April 25th, 2017 was officially designated La La Land Day in Los Angeles. A historic location plaque with the date and details of the movie's filming was installed next to Hermosa Beach Pier.
Wow.
That's cool.
So
That is pretty cool.
April 25th is now La La Land Day.
Nice. I have one that is really interesting because it has to do with the actual process of filming the movie,
Okay.
and it kind of reminded me of the filming of Before Sunset. So the crew, whenever they were filming that entire Hollywood Hills sequence where it's like super, dusky sunrise, it's like purples and oranges and stuff, the crew had a very limited time window of 30 minutes between 2 days. So that's 15 seconds in 2 days, for 15 minutes in 2 days between like 7:20 p.m. and 7:50 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
to get that dance sequence right. Yeah, according to the director, Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling managed 5 takes in 2 days, where after each take they would go back to their starting point with the assistants that would wipe their sweat away before they would start dancing again.
Jeez.
And the 4th take was the one that they eventually used in the final cut of the film.
4th?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
filmmaking right there.
Yeah.
And then,
I just thought that was wild that they had to film that whole thing within 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. In 2 days, yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
The last one that I have, it's pretty cool, just little thing inside the movie. Stone and Gosling both walked by stage 16 multiple times in the movie, which is where scenes from Dunkirk and The Goonies were filmed. So I thought that was pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's definitely. Any other ones?
No, that's the last one I have.
That's it for me as well.
Okay, I got a couple more here. Damien Chazelle is the first director to win the Academy Award for Best Director for a musical film since Bob Fosse for Cabaret. That came out in 1972. Chazelle is also the first director to win the award for an original musical film since Vicente Minnelli for Gigi, which came out in 1958.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah. Also, this movie was shot entirely on film, like we had said previously to that. And then this movie also stops being a musical at the moment that Sebastian and Mia stopped being happy.
Mm.
The next song was sung at the audition when Mia started to feel joy again.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. So that entire time from when they break up until she auditions,
There's no.
it stops being a musical at that point and turns into a full-on drama.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know.
The joy had left their lives. There's no more music to be had until the joy came back again.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. What didn't work for you guys? Yeah, I've already spoiled my.
No, I got
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
there's nothing that didn't work.
I seriously can't.
Yeah,
And,
when,
and this
I-
is what
I
blows
get-
my mind is, you guys know how much I talk about The Sound of Music and how I love musicals. I don't know how the heck I fell asleep through this, because this is literally such a good movie,
yeah,
and I'm gonna dog on myself. I'm stupid for falling asleep.
I'm stupid for letting you fall asleep.
Honestly, yes, you are, because this is such a good movie.
yeah,
And you can't talk crap about this movie. You can't talk bad about this movie.
Yeah.
There's no room to.
yeah. I've seen a lot of people criticize it for it having a simple plot or a simple story and that it's been done before, but I would argue that simplicity is not bad.
No.
Simplicity isn't bad whenever you have amazing writing.
Yeah.
And this movie has amazing writing, and I guess we can get into what works here.
Yeah.
I want to highlight the writing for this. I mean, it got Oscar nominated for crying out loud. It was this movie is while the plot may be simple, it is amazing writing, and it is done perfectly. I would argue.
Mm-hmm.
It's done to the point where you forget how simple of a plot it is, because there's a lot more nuance than what people are trying to take the credit away for.
Mhm.
I don't know if I said that correctly, but there's more than what meets the eye
Mhm.
with this film. And I heard a lot of people getting so angry with the ending, and I have to say, like, I personally, I love the ending. Like, it's one of my favorite parts of the film, even though it makes me the most sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where that's real. That's what happens. Life gets in the way sometimes, and seeing that portrayed on film, it hits different, man. And whenever I see that, it's like a dagger in the heart, man. I'm like, oh man, that hurts. But it's beautiful, and finding beauty in that tragedy is what I think makes this movie so great. So.
Yeah.
I honestly can't justify any of the things I saw that were bad. I was like,
yeah,
like some of them were like, they didn't sing great, or they didn't like, oh, they suck at singing. I was like, dude, I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Even like I saw something where like, oh, they just whispered through their performances, which is what people who can't sing do. And I was like, I said like,
what?
I said like, if anything, like
This is
like they do it in an understated way, because at certain points of the film they like their characters are insecure, and then you're gonna tell me that Mia's audition was
that's
not
her
great?
full frontal.
Like,
that's basically full frontal nudity right there. That's her like
she's being completely vulnerable.
Yeah.
I'd even read something too to the while doing a little bit of the research for the facts. That was actually that was not pre-recorded. That was done like on the spot. So like everything that I think she did it within like 5 takes or 4 takes. But what happened was she had like a little in-ear, and the composer would be playing piano in her
and
ear.
she just not
And
go
she,
off of
and
it.
she was,
Oh, and
she
she
knew
would
she knew the words, but she sang right then and there in front of everyone. Dang. It wasn't like in a studio pre-recorded, so everything that's used, vocally there is with all those mics and everything, like on set as it's happening.
I thought they did incredible, honestly. Like
Yeah,
I really loved their performances, not only as like actors, but as professional musicians.
Yeah,
I thought they were great.
yeah.
So I don't know what they're talking about there.
Yeah,
but
me either.
One thing that I really, really enjoyed was the atmosphere they provided, and the I guess you would say set design and costumes that they used.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the vibe of it. I joke around a lot, and I'm like, man, I want to dress up like that, and like I joke around
Wear
like
suits everywhere.
exactly, and like the dinner that they go to, I'm like, and I joke around with you guys. I'm like, man, let's go to Applebee's in our suits. Like, I love dressing up like that. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And seeing them like that was their casual.
Yeah.
I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's something weird to love, I guess, but that's something that really I enjoyed in this movie.
Yeah.
Was seeing them that.
I
like
think
that.
I'll echo you a little bit in saying that like I really enjoyed this love letter to LA and old Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed making up LA to be this like magical place where dreams are made, and it really does feel like it's this place where it's not real, it's a dreamland. It's La La Land, and it's one of those things where you see all these like tourist spots like the Griffith Observatory and that pier and stuff, and but when it's used in this film, it's like, man, this feels otherworldly. And I really enjoyed, like, I don't know, I guess I really liked that the director went to LA, filmed it here, and found things to love about LA. Because LA has been, like there are so many like jokes and people hating on LA and people that live in LA, and just everyone like finding the downsides of it, whereas this is a movie that is completely building it up as this place of like beauty. Like I don't know, I just really enjoyed that.
Like immediately, one of the downsides that I think of LA is the Dodgers.
This guy.
They're the best. They're the best part of LA. Bro.
I thought you were gonna do something
I just had to throw that out there.
Seb knows, bro. He had that 47 brand.
Oh my god.
LA
Sorry,
Dodgers hat, bro.
I had to throw it out
Caught me
there.
off. I was like, what's this dude gonna say about LA? Thought you were gonna say traffic, all that stuff. No.
I don't understand why people think it's so bad with traffic. I went to LA for vacation a couple months ago, and it literally was not bad.
Yeah.
It literally was not bad.
I went to LA for work conference and I ran into some pretty bad traffic. I did, yeah.
I loved it. It was fine. But this movie, I can rewatch this movie 100%. Somebody said, hey, let's go watch La La Land today. I'm like, okay. Like
Let's do it.
it's so it's like a feel good movie now. Like this is a movie where I want something to make me feel good. I will throw this is a movie
It's a
that
comfort movie.
a comfort movie. That's the way to say it. I will throw it in there. Like
Mhm.
I'll be like, that's a good movie. Like I can watch that and be completely satisfied. Or like how like you like to say it. Like if you're scrolling through TV and you're like, oh, La La Land's on, I know exactly about
I
the
can
movie
put that on like at any moment.
and watch it from there. And that's something that this movie really does for me.
Mhm.
I can do that. So,
Yeah.
And I really am glad about that.
Yeah, one of the things I like a lot is the cinematography and how interesting it is. And I think it's what lends itself to being rewatchable, dude.
Yes.
If seeing your reactions, dude, like you never can expect of what's gonna happen next or what these set pieces are gonna bring, or like you would never expect them to go to that observatory and then start floating in the
No, not at all.
like in the universe, and waltzing to this beautiful music. It's so lively and beautiful and dreamlike, and it is something that I would never expected. Like I can never, predict what was gonna happen next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the visual imagery and all the visuals that they had were so stunning and interesting to watch.
Yeah, I want to highlight that too as well with like the gorgeous uses of color and lighting.
It's honestly one of my favorite parts about this is the color.
Yeah,
And they're so bright and vibrant.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I love the lighting that's used here as well with
Yeah.
these like dark theatrical spotlights that come in, the lights when they fade out and we get put in this room alone with a person. Like it feels so intimate and cinematic, and I love every minute of it. I also have to say, like, I don't really talk about editing much in a film. The editing to this is great.
It
Like
seems seamless, like
it,
you said
like
earlier.
it feels like it feels like I seamless. Like I can't think
Yeah.
of another word to describe it.
It
Like
flows beautiful,
it-
like
yeah,
a wave.
yeah,
Like
it
perfect.
literally it doesn't feel like there are any hard cuts. There's
Yeah.
nothing that needs to be taken out.
Mm-hmm.
It flows from one end to the other like perfectly.
Like and if you would say like the hard cuts where it pans over real quick, if you
Yeah.
consider that a hard cut, it doesn't seem like it's a hard cut
No,
because it
even
works
then,
perfectly.
I love the whip pans in this.
Yeah.
I do.
There's a behind the scenes. There's a behind the scenes little clip that I saw of the making of that scene where Mia's dancing in the club and Seb's on the piano.
Yeah.
And
It's like they're both.
dude, okay, but those whip pans like between them, like a whip.
Was it the actual camera doing it?
Yes.
What?
And so listen, it's so cool to watch Damien Chazelle work here because another guy's operating the camera, but he's tapping him on the shoulder whenever he wants him to whip
Whoa.
over.
Yeah.
And so like he'll be listening and he'll go tap him on the shoulder and then the guy will whip over here. And then he knows whenever he wants him to whip back, so he'll tap him on the other shoulder and go
That's
whip
so
back
cool.
over.
I can only imagine how loose that like camera stand has
Yeah.
to be able to.
He lets
Well,
go.
They
To
WD-40'd that thing so much.
Well, listen, and almost like how accurate. My sound is
You have-
accurate. DJ Khaled.
It just reminds me of shout out to all my pairs.
My sound is accurate. How accurate that guy has to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
to
seriously.
be able to whip so fast over there and get it like in line, like perfectly centered and all
And
that
how
stuff.
not
stable.
not
It's-
overcorrect or anything like
Yeah,
that.
like it's
Practice, dude.
it's beautiful, man. I'll have to pull up that clip and show you guys
I wanna
after
see
because it's sick.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, I'm just like, dude, that's filmmaking. Like that's so cool to be able to like use old techniques like that. Obviously, you could CGI whip pans in.
yeah.
But to be able to be like, no, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to do it by the book and do it how it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And having that, come out as and seeing the result of it is
It's
beautiful.
phenomenal.
Love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
One thing that we haven't hit on, and I know we'll all agree, is the soundtrack. I mean,
Yeah.
how
It's
can
Bob.
how can you not like the soundtrack to this?
I wish I knew music theory and why these songs get stuck in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why
It's just I feel like it's because it's so beautiful, like, and it's so hard to describe that music as beautiful. I don't know.
It feels like ornate.
Ornate. That's a big word. I don't know.
Ornate, like delicate and like
So,
think of like a
like a newborn
like-
child, and like you gotta be so soft, like delicate with him.
no, like think of like a like when like certain architectures could be considered ornate. Like
The
how
Eiffel
would you
Tower?
describe it, like the Eiffel Tower, or like things that are like very intricate looking, like a set of china. You know, like a set of china could be described as ornate because it's delicate, it's beautiful, it's got all these little intricacies to it that make it beautiful. And I think that that's kind of how you could describe some of the music, especially the theme. Like that theme,
It's
will,
stuck
will
in my
be
head.
stuck in my head for days.
Yeah.
I can literally walk around and be hearing. Dum, 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 dum. Like it's one of those things where I'll continue to listen to it, like, you know,
Yeah.
for days
Yeah,
to
yeah,
come.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's on my film scores I love
I was about to
playlist.
say, I'm pretty sure it's on your film scores.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was driving home today, and I was like, you know what? I'll just throw it on as I'm driving home, and immediately I was like, and I could not stop smiling, dude. I was like, dude, I freaking love this movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that it can do that is just incredible.
Yeah. I also have to say, performances from
Yeah.
Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling are incredible.
I loved it. Yeah.
Like I really have to give props to them too, because they understood the assignment, and they give like some of their best performances, I think. Like other than like me thinking Ryan Gosling did amazing in Drive, I think that's one of my best performances for him, in my opinion.
In my opinion, Emma Stone's is Zombieland.
So
No,
Zombieland
Zombieland 2. Have you seen that?
no.
That is the one I almost walked out of the theater.
No, dude. I didn't watch Zombieland 2 because I knew it was gonna be garbage.
It's garbage.
It is sucked because
Sorry.
I loved the first one.
I love the
I
first
love
one.
the first.
I
The first
loved
one has
the
its like unique own style and
Yeah,
like comedy
lo-
to it, and
I loved the first one. I had that on my iPod Nano. Yeah, and I would rewatch it like all the time.
yeah,
That was
Sorry.
like, Scott Pilgrim.
yeah.
Yeah, is one of those movies where that I loved. And then whenever I saw the second one, and it was announced like 10, 10 years later, and I don't know, just seeing the trailer, and then people being like, "Oh yeah, it's like super fourth wall breaking," like the whole time. I was just like, "Yeah, I don't know if I want to watch it."
I
Then.
hated it. I absolutely.
I'm glad I
hated
haven't watched it. No, but honestly, I think Emma Stone kills it in here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Took it off
No,
a
no,
little.
you're good. You're good.
Dude,
I
if
don't-
you
I don't
loved her
think-
in this, you will love her in Birdman.
Birdman.
I know. Birdman. That's another one that won, or at least was nominated, right?
I believe it won Best Picture for its
When-
year.
When did it come out?
I think it came out in 2014.
It's one of those ones where it's filmed kind of like
It's a-
1917
It's
is.
a one-take film.
Yeah, it's a one take type deal, and it's with Michael Keaton.
Yes.
And
And Emma
we'll
Stone.
get to that.
Edward Norton as well.
Is
Ew.
he in that?
It won a
I'm ready.
bunch of Academy Awards. Holy cow! It won 9.
What did it win?
Best Picture, Best Cinematography, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Sound Editing
Yeah. See, I haven't
for
watched
2015.
It. We will get to it.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
That is crazy.
I remember watching that movie in the Merced College library on my laptop and witnessing like the one take movie for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I was just blown away by it. The entire
I
time I was just
know.
like, dude, this is sick. Like there are no cuts. Like it feels like this fluid motion. The camera is just always moving. It's dope. I'd be excited to do an episode on that. I'd love to revisit that.
All right.
But yeah, I think I've pretty much said everything that I want to for what did work.
Yeah.
I want to say too, in regards to the writing, I feel like we get the perfect balance between the entire spectacle of the film and the weight of characters.
Mm.
Like we get the perfect balance of what these characters are, what they believe, what they want, their motivations, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we get that tied in with this, entire, theatrical thing that is a musical.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't overstep its welcome at
Mhm.
all. Like it dances on the line between both, and I think it's amazing.
Mhm.
It's an amazing feat in writing and direction, and I just have to applaud Damien Chazelle for that.
Yeah.
Perfectly
quick,
balanced. as
Before
all
I get
things
called
should be.
out, it had 9 nominations, not 9 winnings. It won
Oh.
four Academy
4.
Awards, which was Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Cinematography. Is what it won.
Okay,
So sorry for about
still big
big
wins.
names.
Big
yeah.
wins, yeah, for sure.
Who wins this movie?
I put Emma Stone.
Okay,
I put Ryan Gosling.
It's hard for me to pick.
You're gonna
man.
pick both. You're gonna
It's
pick
hard
both?
for me to pick both.
It's
man.
hard to pick both. It is, or it's hard to choose.
It's hard to choose.
Yeah.
I'm like my immediate thought was Emma Stone, but then I was like, but I
But
love
Ryan
Ryan Gosling in
kills it.
this dude. Like, so it's hard for me to pick. So I'm gonna be cheap and say both.
That's all right.
All good.
They each got 2 likes. You give them one, and we each give them one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're all tied up here.
I have an interesting theme here, which is actually a quote, I believe, or a quote, I believe, from Damien Chazelle. And I really like how he described what this movie is and what he thinks it's about.
Mhm.
So he said that this movie is about being transformed by someone that sets you on the path toward being the person you dreamed of, and then eventually having to walk that path alone.
Jeez.
And he said that idea, he both loved and was very disturbed by that idea, and that was what motivated him to write this film.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Better than I could have ever said.
Yeah, I know I had tried thinking of something, original, and when I'd heard him say that, I was just like, wow, like that's better than anything I could have ever written, so I'm just going to attribute it to him because that was his. So
Yeah, it's interesting to see, that same passion that they both had towards the beginning. That same passion that brought them together is also that same passion that tore them apart.
Yeah.
So I can see the terror in that,
Mhm.
and to choose to follow that passion, while it means to walk it alone.
Yeah.
It's scary.
But yeah, do you guys have anything else written down?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's going to come as a surprise to anybody, but what are we rating this film?
I'm giving it a 10.
I'm giving it a 10.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 10 as well. And
Definitely deserves it.
yeah, it deserves
100%.
nothing less, I think. And if you're saying it does, you're lying to yourself. This movie has everything, and it's very enjoyable. And I gotta say, from a guy that like isn't fond of musicals, this is a great film.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
despite it being a musical, it is a masterpiece of filmmaking and of cinema. And I will say that till the day I die. So
Yeah.
open your mind, open your horizons, and step out into something that you don't think you'd normally like.
You
You'll
never
be
know.
surprised.
Yeah, you never know what you'll find.
But all right, that was the end of the episode, y'all. So if you have anything, anything else to add?
Real quick, the guy that Mia marries, the actor's name is Tom Everett Scott. And you know what I know him from? He's the dad of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
You remember him from that?
Tom Everett in the movies?
In the movies.
What dad? I'm thinking of that dad from Daddy Daycare.
I have no idea.
Because he's in yeah. It says right here.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That's a throwback right there, dude.
Roger
Somebody
Cools.
farted.
I was about to do that if we had the reverb.
He's no, yeah, you're right. He's Frank Heffley is the other guy. He's a dad in.
Oh, okay.
But then I also know him from a movie called Clouds. So you guys probably haven't
Oh
seen
no, he talks all about
it.
that.
I sob every time I watch that movie. So
I haven't seen that one.
Me neither.
you won't like it. I know you won't.
I don't even know what it's about.
It's based on a true story. It's on Disney. It's on Disney Plus. Makes me cry every time.
You said Disney?
No, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it.
Exactly. Disney.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, that's a hot
But-
take of the last hot take of the episode. Hopefully.
I got more. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Yeah, well, that's the end of the episode, y'all. So if you did enjoy that episode, make sure that you rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts. It really does help us know that you guys are liking what we're putting out, and also lets us know if you guys are wanting us to change something up as well. So go ahead and do that for us. We are also on YouTube now. You can like the videos, let us know that we're doing great. Leave a comment. And we've got a couple of comments on a series of videos now, and it's been great to see those comments.
Mhm.
And I don't know. Whenever I first saw it, I was just like, dude, we got a comment.
I did. You yelled it.
It was hype.
I was in my room just watching TV, and it's like
I was in here-
It's like 10:30 at night.
Yeah,
and
I
we're
was
trying-
I was in here editing and uploading the video, and then
And all I
was
hear
looking.
is Isaiah go, we got a comment. And
Yeah.
I was like, what? And so I ran over. He goes, and he literally smacks me. He goes, we got a comment. And I was like, dude, it was,
So-
we were cheesing.
It's great. So, continue to like the videos, continue to comment, share them, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell on, all that stuff. It's
Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll
Yes.
catch you next week.
yeah, smash that like button. Absolutely obliterate the subscribe button.
Let's aim for 500 likes today.
Can this video get 1 million likes?
I'm vomiting, bro. This is woo. This is like all the worst parts of YouTube, right? But it's true.
Yeah.
But don't forget to hit that bell notification on and subscribe.
But yeah, do all that stuff, please. It helps.
It does. Yeah.
As much
As ironic as we're being, it does help. We have to admit
Yeah.
it does help. So, yeah, check us out on YouTube if you prefer the video podcast. That's where we've been posting all of our video.
Mhm.
And if you prefer the audio, we're on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. So,
yeah.
continue to share the episodes with people you're close with, family, friends, people who love movies.
Mhm.
And also get in contact with us on Instagram and our emails. Any way that you want to get in contact with us, you can find all of our methods of contact in our episode descriptions, and much more there as well.
Yes,
So,
sir.
I believe that's about it. So I believe it's Nick's pick next
It
week.
is next.
It is. Yes. I am going to choose a movie that I have only watched half of, and like Gattaca, I watched it in school. Only halfway though. I only paid attention halfway, and I never returned to it. But we are going to watch The Truman Show.
All right, it's another Jim Carrey movie.
It is a Jim
Never seen
Carrey
it.
movie. It's it's one of his serious roles. I remember. Is it also a little bit kind of funny too, though?
It has some elements of comedy, but
Okay.
it is it's a drama for sure.
Yeah, and it's also one of those kind of like mind bender. Because I
Yeah.
remember the premise, and I'm not gonna spoil it or anything like that, but I remember that the big premise of being like, what the heck? Like this is kind of possible,
Yeah. I really enjoy this movie, and I really enjoy Jim Carrey's performance in it. This was, I think the first time I watched this movie, I was young because my dad loved Jim Carrey. So I grew up watching Dumb and Dumber and The Mask.
Bruce Almighty.
And yeah,
Bruce Almighty.
yeah,
That's-
I grew up watching all of his movies and Liar Liar
Mm.
and all those. And my dad had The Truman Show, and I remember watching it and remembering that it wasn't like his other movies.
Yeah.
And I didn't really grasp the situation and the whole entire plot of the movie until I got older. And when I watched it when I was older, I was like, dude, this movie is great. I love this. This is an awesome film. So I'm really excited to revisit that and get to watch it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know that there's also a bunch of details that could be easily missed too.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, after the rewatch, I've seen this, and this kind of connects to this. So I'm excited to see what people have to say and just how I feel about it.
Yeah. I'm excited
Alright.
for you guys to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be my first watch.
Really?
I've never seen it.
All right.
I'm excited about it.
It's streaming on HBO Max.
Oh,
Yeah.
go again.
Yeah.
Goated. All right, so go check out The Truman Show if you have yet to see that film, and tune back in with us next week to hear what we thought about that film.
Awesome.
As always, this has been the Film Bros Podcast. Thank you so much, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.